Hello again. Hey, so good to see you. Today I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about all kinds of great juicy stuff. I'm going to kind of center it around how do you know you're on your path, what your path is, and how to stay on your own path, especially because the path is oftentimes a very squiggly path and not a very straight line. So it can be difficult for the mind to navigate your path. And then if that's the case, then we need to find where your compass is. And we're going to look at where your compass is and how to actually use or know when to use or not use what's happening in the mind. So let's get started here. How do we get started? First off, we're going to come to the breath, and this is my basic breath. It's been in probably every video you've seen of me. The basic breath is in and out only through the nose, mouth closed, small gap between your teeth, tongue to the roof of the mouth, and your attention is on the exhale. So you're going to have a slightly longer exhale than inhale. So it's just in, out. And you begin maybe where you feel comfortable with your breath, and then pull back about 10% and breathe less, about 10%. And then after a few breaths, pull back yet another 10%. So you should feel a slight oxygen hunger as you breathe. And this is because we're not going deep breaths. We're going small, useful breaths. Okay, let's refine that. Not big breaths. Our breaths are going deeper all the way to the lower diaphragm, but they're smaller. They're more appropriate to who you are, what you need. So many of us are used to over-breathing, and we don't know it that we're over-breathing. That every practice, when we're conscious of our breath, should include a slight restriction, just turning down the breath, because for most people we're in a oxidated state, and we want to come out of the oxidation and into oxygenation, and part of that is by turning down your breathing. Okay, so that's our starting point. We know we're on our path. How do we know we're on our path? Again, it's coming. I like to come into the breath, but let's just be more specific. It's coming into the present moment. It's being very present continually. And you'll notice that you can't breathe for tomorrow, and you can't bring back the breath that you breathed yesterday. Your breath is always very present. Also, when you're using the breath as your anchor, you're coming into the body. So you're creating, actually, we're going to use our focus to bring awareness deeper. And when you are breathing, your focus can't help but come into the breath. Whereas for the most part, we are used to keeping our focus with the mind, with the thinkingness, and trying to use our focus to satisfy the insatiable thinkingness, the insatiable mind that is always asking for more. And when we bring our focus deeper, or move it away from the thinker and into the body, using the body as an anchor, okay? We're not just this head up here. 90% of us is down here in the body. Use the body. The body is very intelligent. It's got a deep wisdom that goes beyond the thinker. The thinker is really just looking for the new, latest entertainment of the day, and not so much about how to be present and what the moment is calling for. Whereas the body oftentimes knows what the moment is calling for, and we can call that intuition. We can call it all kinds of things, but let's use presence. And as long as we're in presence, we find out what our path is. Now, the mind is going to say, well, you need to change your job and you need to change your relationships in order to get on your path. Well, the fact of the matter is you're on your path, okay? Wherever you happen to be, whoever you happen to be with is your path. And getting out of the mind, getting out of the one that judges and that critiques and opinionates and continually comments, and into space, we start to see the unfoldment in a much different way. So we learn to use our focus. And our focus, everybody has focus. The focus is the you that is actually you, the one that isn't contained to the body, but the one that seems to have been glued to the thinker for so long. And as we become more and more aware or in tuned with the breath and the body, we learn that the focus can move away from the thinking and into other spaces. So we use the body as that first step to move focus, and focus comes in here. I like to bring initially focus all the way down to the solar plexus, because this is where that diaphragm works, and we're in the breath. It's also your power center, but it's also a place where the ventral vagal nerve goes through the diaphragm, and we begin to be aware of this parasympathetic system that really has its branching, its core in your core, in your solar plexus area. Once you have developed a relationship there, the parasympathetic space is the one of safety and the one of rest and digest, and it's core to the body. Okay, and so that system is directed by the ventral vagal nerve. The vagus nerve is this nerve that has a lot of say over who you are and what you do, but it's not up here. It's all within the body. When you're in your thinker, a lot of times you're stimulating the sympathetic nervous system, which would be the dorsal vagal system, and that runs your fight or flight. That keeps you in the amygdala, which is that lower brain, which is more reactionary, when you come into the breath, you move up into well, first off, your breath stimulates organs because it's oxygenating. When you oxygenate, you naturally move up into the hippocampus. The first place to be stimulated, the first organ to be stimulated, of course, is the brain. And so when you bring awareness, consciousness here or into your breath, you're bringing stimulation from amygdala to hippocampus. With that, you move away from the dopamine response, which is that hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me, and it's that thrill and it's that excitement. It's that addiction. Okay, you move away from that, which is also dumping adrenaline and cortisol into the body. The body is reacting and responding to all this stuff that the mind is looking at. And generally it's stuff that causes stress. When you move deeper into the body, it's asking for the deeper chemicals, the ones that produce peace, the endorphins, the serotonins, the melatonins. And so really what we're doing is we're down regulating. Okay? It's when you down regulate, you're less sort of in that fight or flight space, which is just scanning and reacting, and you're more in observation and presence. So when you're in observation, you see all these things. You see your relationships, your work, your different comings and goings, your environment, your media with a different light. It takes on far less of an emergency and maybe even a philosophical tone begins to come in. It takes a while. It isn't something that just happens immediately. It's practice. It's practice coming in, staying in. And so presence and finding your path and being on your path is knowing that you're exactly where you are meant to be. And your mind is never going to tell you that. Your mind is always going to say, I need to be out there, because the mind and the sympathetic are always kind of in that go away from here space. We can begin to move our focus into the solar plexus, into the place where we stimulate our parasympathetic response, and that trickles back up and the brain responds. And so the thinker begins to come deeper into awareness, and the commentaries of the brain start syncing up with the synchronization of your environment, and you start to see with a deeper intuition what these relationships are for, what these places that you are in are for, the bigger picture. So finding your path is first off finding out that you are on your path, that it's not something out there, that you are exactly where you need to be. It's coming into awareness of it from a different perspective, from a broader perspective, allowing awareness to grow from inside, knowing that or learning that all of interpretation isn't just from the mind, it's from your much broader space. So I hope that everyone that's watching this is participating in the basic breath as you're watching. And now it's just a very small step to go from just breathing in full cognition of all of your environment to closing your eyes and drawing your focus down here to the base of your diaphragm, and then just watching this diaphragm, this space, the breath come in and go out, and allowing this to be okay. So, I'm suggesting that you begin a meditation practice if you don't already. Begin a practice of just coming in and feeling the silence that lives within the body. Because the brain likes noise, right? And so we're have always been attuned to the noise. And so it's going to take a while for the noise to settle, especially as you bring your awareness deeper inside. And it's also a proximity thing, right? Your focus being down here is away from the head. It's in the body. And so keep your focus there and just feel the silence of the body, or whatever the body is speaking to you. It may not be completely silent. It may have some things to say, but it's probably going to be in a far different language than the words in the head, because the brain has language, and so it seems to command immediate attention because it knows how to form the pictures that we are so much more in tune with. And we need to become more in tune, less in tune with the pictures of what's happening out there with all the others, and find the picture that we are in tune with, whatever that may be. It may take a while because it might not have images that you're accustomed to. What's the image for peace? What's the image for kindness? What's the image for love or friendliness? Find those images, because those are the images that will come from here rather than the images that come from, well, if you've been attuned to a lot of the media and pop culture in general, the images are all over the place, and they're very immediate, and they're very few of them pertain directly to you. So let's come into the breath, close the eyes, bring the focus into the solar plexus. And we're going to stay in the solar plexus for some time. Now we can come into the heart center, we can come into the root chakra, we can come into the third eye and above, and we can go into the earth chakra, which is even below. But let's first anchor ourselves in the solar plexus, because from the solar plexus we can fill our tank. Okay, we're going to fill our tank, and then when we go into these other places, we have some fuel, some energy to bring to whatever it is that we want to expand upon. Whether it be something from the heart space, or something from the inspiration space, or something from the root space. I guess, that's what I have for you today. Come into your solar plexus and breathe and just learn to listen. Listen to the silence of the body with patience. Keep your focus. Keep drawing your focus back into the silence of the body. Feel this rise and fall of the diaphragm. And learn the ways of that flow. And as you do so, you will learn the language of silence. And eventually, we'll learn to take our focus out into the world, out into other places. But for now, learn to direct your focus, your pure self, into the core of who you are, this solar plexus, this diaphragm, the place in the diaphragm where it meets the ventral vagal nerve, stimulates that parasympathetic, that safety response, that deep knowingness. This body, this seemingly physical mechanism, has got some real ancient connections that, as we learn to silence, we will revive and bring into our daily awareness. So that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.